So, see the friends. Once again, good afternoon. Welcome to GATE third week, third lecture about water resource engineering. So, first topic is precipitation, how to measure the precipitation, how to find out the missing rainfall data. So, what is rainfall? What is average rainfall? What is normal rainfall? What is effective rainfall? Then, the main phases in hydrologic cycle: evaporation, precipitation, runoff. So, how to find out the evaporation? Then, how to uh, arrive the losses like infiltration and evaporation. So after meeting the losses, after satisfying the losses, the rainwater may be converted as a runoff. That we will concentrate on runoff only because of surface runoff always gives or always influences our water storage structures. Storage capacity, etc. So that's why we are main concentration on runoff. So already studied about the types of runoff, uh, factors affecting runoff. Then the main topic in the runoff is hydrographs. So hydrograph, the main function of hydrograph is to know the behavior of what is the highest peak, what is the highest flood occurring in any year. So that for a given discharge, how to design the structures, etc. It will be known through by seeing the hydrographs. So hydrographs again. So the mainly runoff is surface runoff, subsurface runoff, base flow. So if we detect base flow, we are supposed to get direct runoff hydrograph. So already once again I am telling that I'm telling that the direct runoff hydrograph related to effective rainfall only. So then once again unit hydrograph. So unit hydrograph is a hydrograph. Unit hydrograph is a direct runoff hydrograph resulting from 1 centimeter effective rainfall. So besides, just like a scale conversion, that's all. So for 100 meter cube per second, just will supposed to show in the graph as 1 meter cube per second. That's all simplification purpose only. Unit hydrograph is derived, right? Then the synthetic unit hydrograph. So because of the runoff or rainfall data may not available in the remote areas, so that we are supposed to draw the hydrograph. That hydrograph may be called as synthetic hydrograph. So the unit hydrograph of zero duration is called instantaneous unit hydrograph. So these are the basic things. Anyhow, that we can go through the material also. Or just to brush up our previous things. So is it visible, Harshvardhan?
Yes, sir.
Right. Good. Thank you. So now today we'll discuss about the groundwater hydrology. This topic may also help you to write the university examinations also with full marks. So what are the concepts means? We know the definitions of aquifer, aquiclude, aquitard, aquifuge. Then the relationship between porosity, specific yield, and specific retention time. Then transmissibility, coefficient of transmissivity, etc. Then discharge formulas in aquifers. So discharge in a confined aquifer and unconfined aquifer, like that. Let me see about the. So what is aquifer? So aquifer is a saturated formation of earth material, which is not only stores water but yields it in significant quantity. So a best example is sands. So aquifer is a geological formation which contains water and transmits water. That's all. See this. If you see if you observe these definitions: aquifer, aquated, aquiclude, aquefuge. So one may contain water and transmits. One may contain water but not transmit. So neither contains nor transmits. So let's see. Aquifer is a saturated formation of earth material which is not only stores water but yields it in significant quantity. Yields meant to transmit. So to yield it significant quantity. Example is sand. Aquitard. It's a formation through which only seepage is possible and thus the yield is insignificant compared to an aquifer. It's partly permeable. Example, sandy clay. So it's partly permeable. So aqueduct is a formation through which only seepage is possible, but not transport. It's a difference between the aqueduct and aqueduct. So in aqueduct, it's a formation through which only seepage is possible, and thus the yield is insignificant compared to an aquifer. So it's partly permeable. Example, sand, clay. Then aquiclude. So it's a geological formation which is essentially impermeable to the flow of water. So the first example is clay. So it's a geological formation which is essentially impermeable. Impermeable means not transmits water to the flow of water. Example, clay. So it may contain water, but it may not transmit. That's called aquiclude. Then aquifuge. So it is a geological formation which is neither porous nor permeable. Example, sheetrock. So sheetrock or compact rock, etc. Like that. So then let us see the relationship between the porosity, specific yield, and specific retention. So porosity, you already studied in the soil mechanics also. So the amount of space per unit volume is called porosity. Then specific yield. So then actually what is the meaning of yield actually? Meaning is yield means output. Just wait. Just I will surroundings may create some no sounds. Just I request them. Okay, it is somewhere, friends, not in our permissions also. Let me see. So the important definitions here is specific yield means output. So specific yield, the actual volume of water that can be extracted by force of gravity from a unit volume of aquifer. Any material is known as a specific yield, SY, equal to volume of water that can be extracted by the force of gravity, right? By volume. So per the unit volume of the aquifer. Then specific retention, the fraction of water held back in the aquifer is known as specific retention. See, it is extracted by force of gravity. It is held back. So, for example, total volume. So, one volume is extracted by force of gravity. Another one is fraction of water held back in the aquifer because of retention. That's why it's the term indicates retention. So, is known as specific retention, SR. So, relation equal to porosity N equal to SY plus SR. This is a very, very important relation that may ask in 1 mark GATE questions in alternate years. So, don't confuse that. N equal to SY plus SR, specific yield plus specific retention. Again, SY equal to volume of water that can be extracted by force of gravity per unit volume. Again, the held back in the aquifer is known as specific retention. So, transmissibility. So it is a product of coefficient of permeability into width of the aquifer. So the discharge of unit width aquifer is and a unit hydraulic gradient is called transmissibility, right? So T equal to K into B, where B equal to thickness. So you know the discharge formula, of course, the derivations are not important here. So whereas in case of uncontained aquifer, P equal to pi into K, Z2 square minus Z1 square by log R2 by R1, right? Or H2 H1. Some textbook may be used as H2 H1 or whatever it is, Z2 Z1 like that. So then in case of confined aquifer, please write down these formulas. Are very, very important. Confined aquifer Q equal to 2 pi K into B into Z2 minus Z1 by log R2 by R1. So it is in a, right? It is a formula. It's a natural log to the base E actually. So you may convert it into 2.303. So log 10. So that is the difference between the natural log and log base 10. Let us see this problem. A 150 mm diameter well is driven fully in confined aquifer of thickness 12 meter. So let me assume that it's a confined aquifer. So when it is decided as a confined aquifer, once you know that's formula, remember is Q equal to 2 pi K into B into H2 minus H1 or Z2 minus H1, whatever it is. H2 minus H1 is a convenient by 2.303 log 10 to the base R2 by R1. So when pumping is done at a constant rate of 250 liter per minute, convert it into always meter cube per second. That's very convenient for 10 hours. Then the steady state drawdowns are found to be 2.2 meters and 0.02 meters at a distance of 14 meters and 50 meters respectively from the center of the well. The hydraulic conductivity of the aquifer in meter per day is. So clearly asking that in meter per day. So that type of problems is asked usually, not only in GATE examinations, in competitive examinations also it will ask. So now thickness is 12 meters, right? Discharge is 250 liters per minute. Convert it into meter cube per second first. So 10 hours. So drawdown means if you draw the confined aquifer, drawdown are found to be 2.2 meters and 1.2 meters at a distance of 14 meters 1 and 50 meters. So because of R1 equal to 50 meters or R1 equal to 14 meters, R2 equal to 50 meters respectively from the center of the well. The hydraulic conductivity of the aquifer is. So the formula is, let us see, Q equal to 2 pi K into B, Z2 minus Z1 by log, the base already told you know, base E by R2 by R1. So what is Q? 0.15. So convert it, actually it's 0.15 is which units actually here? 250 liter per minute, converted into meter cube per second first. That's why it may occur. So 0.15 equal to 2 pi K into thickness B into S2 minus S1 or Z2 minus Z1, H2 minus H1, whatever it is you feel. So whatever it is drawdown, difference of drawdown. 2.2 here like this, no, 2.2 minus 0.2 by log base to E 50 by 4 R1 by R2, R2 by R1, sorry, R2 by R1. So then K equal to this much straight away. In an area of 200 hectares, water table drops by 4 meters. If the porosity is 0.35 and the specific retention is 0.15, change in volume of storage in the aquifer is. So now we are supposed to remember definition. Right? Let's say specific yield equal to N equal to, you know, porosity N equal to SY plus SR. So then from that SY equal to N minus SR. So what is N porosity? 0.35 minus SR means held back retention 0.15. So it comes around 0.2. So now change in volume of storage in aquifer means specific yield is 0.2 into how much area? 200 hectares into 10 power 4 meter square. Drop is 4 meters. That's 4 meters. So that's why it totally 1.6 into 10 power 6 cubic meter. So next question, a tube well of 30 centimeter diameter penetrates fully into an artesian aquifer. The strainer length is 50 meter. Strainer length is nothing but, see, if you are given the strainer length, it was nothing but width of the aquifer. So the yield is in liter per second from the well under a drawdown of 3 meters through the aquifer consisting of sand of effective size 0.2 mm and coefficient of permeability 50 meter per day with radius of drawdown of 150 meters. So what is the drawdown actually? So what is the radius? The radius of drawdown. Then the point at which where the drawdown is 0 is called radius of influence. But you remember that. That's called radius of influence. Of course, that may not come into picture now, but only thing is tell you to remember. So now, so what are the given data? Please write down first actually. Of course, straight away it is substitute that Q equal to 2 pi K coefficient of permeability. How much? 50 meter per day as it is into the strainer length. Already told you know whatever the strainer length is given, it's a width of that fair 2 pi K, right, into B. So into drawdown, difference of drawdown 3 meters. That's under a drawdown of 3 meters, only one drawdown by log to the base C R2 by R1, R2 by R, R2 by R1. Whatever, if two wells are working, R2 R1. If only one well is R2 by R, or R1 by R, whatever it is. So 150 What is 150 actually? Right? This one. So the standard length is 15 meters, 30 centimeter diameter, 0.15. 30 by 2, 50 centimeters, 0.15 meters. Right? That's with radius of drawdown is 150 meters. This 150 R. So this 150 R by R small r equal to, it comes around meter cube per day, converted into liter. So like this. Meter cube per day, liter per second. Into liter means into 10 cube liters by 24 into 60 into 60. It comes around liter per second. It's also a simple question. A confined sandy aquifer has a thickness of 10 meters and transmissibility of 0.75 meters square per day. Its hydraulic conductivity in meter per day. Hydraulic conductivity or coefficient of permeability, right? So again, what is T? Equal to K into B. So what is K? Don't know, right? 0.75 T, K as it is, into 10 thickness, K into B. So it's 0.075 meter per day. So two observation wells penetrating into a confined aquifer are located 1.5 km apart in the direction of flow. Heads of 45 meters and 20 meters are indicated at the aquifer is 30 meters per day and porosity is 0.25. The time of travel of an inert tracer from one well to another is about. So, velocity equal to distance by time. For that, it's a simple formula actually. Right? First of all, you are supposed to find out the gradient. Let's see, 45 minus 20, heads difference is 45 minus 20 for a length of 1500 meters. That is the I. Let's say, understand the problem actually. Two observation wells penetrating into a confined aquifer are located 1.5 km apart in the direction of flow. Right? Two heads, 45 meters and 20 meters, are indicated at the aquifer is 30 meters per day and porosity is 0.25. The time of travel of an inert tracer from one well to another is about. Distance traveled, like this is calculated. So V equal to K into I. So from the Darcy's law, V is equal to K into I. K is already given 30 meters per day. Into I means hydraulic gradient, 45 minus 25, 15 meters, this one. So it is around 0.5 meter per day. So seepage velocity, Vs equal to V by N. Velocity by porosity, so 2 meter per day. So again, velocity equal to distance by time. So from that, time equal to 1500 by 2, it is 750 days. Let's say, find the radius of influence. Actually, I already told you what is the radius of influence actually? The point at which the distance from the center of the well to where the drawdown is 0 is called radius of influence. Once again, the distance between the point from the center of the well to the point where the zero drawdown means there is no drawdown at the point. The distance may be called as radius of influence. So find the radius of influence of unconfined. It's called, let us say, it's unconfined aquifer. Formula is changed. So only two formula. One is unconfined aquifer. Second one is confined aquifer. So find the radius of influence of unconfined having 40 meter thickness. If uniform discharge of 200 meter per minute from a well of diameter 20 centimeter, K equal to 0.2 meter per second. Drawdown is 4 meters. So let us say here. So 200 by 60 means 200 meter per minute converted into second. 200 by 60 into pi, right? K into h square minus h2 square minus h1 square or z2 square minus z1 square. Let us say this one, 40 square minus 36 square, right? Drawdown is 4 meters, right? 40 minus 4, 36, like that. Down log e to the base r by radius of influence, don't know, by 0.1, it's like this, having for thickness 20 centimeters diameter, let's say it's 0.1. So finally, after calculations, r equal to 30.8 meters. Let's see this problem also. A 45 centimeter well penetrates an unconfined aquifer of saturated thickness 30 meters completely under steady pumping rate for a long time. The drawdowns at two observation wells, 15 and 30 meters from the well, are 5.0 is 4.2 meters respectively. If the permeability of the aquifer is 20 meters per day, determine the discharge and the drawdown at the pumping well. See, actually what I request is, though the problem is lengthy, if you draw the diagram, let us say one well is drawn, right? Let us say mark the discharge. Thickness h equal to 30 meters. draw down two observation wells, draw the two observation wells, right? 15 and 30 meters from the well, because R1 equal to 15 meters, R2 equal to 30 meters. Draw down is S1 or H1, Z1, whatever it is. Draw down 1 is 4.2 meters, draw down 2 means 5 meters respectively. So this 15 meters draw down is 5.0, for 30 meters for 30 meter distance 4.2 meters respectively. Permeability of the aquifer K equal to 20 meter per day. See that all units are should be same. Determine the discharge and the drawdown at the pumping well. So formula 5 into K, right, into Z2 square minus Z1 square by log R2 by R1 to the base C. So as this pi into, right, 20 meter per day, so we convert it into per second like this. So 25.8 square means first drawdown, right? 25.8 square means 30 meters thickness, 30 minus 4.2, right? 24.8 minus 30 minus 5, 25 by log R means 30 meters. Standard thickness is 30 meters by 15, like this. That is 45 centimeter diameter, 45 by 2, 22.5, 15 centimeter diameter. It's come out like this. So if you substitute all the things, so finally the drawdown is first one, Z1 square equal to 10.53 meters. So this is the first one is 0.026 Q. After finding the Q, you are supposed to substitute here. Understand? First, you are supposed to find out discharge. Then you substitute discharge again, this formula. You are supposed to find out the drawdown at point Z1, like this. Let's say it is a simple question. Water table of an aquifer drops by 100 centimeter over an area of 1000 square kilometer. The porosity and specific retention of the aquifer material are 25% and 5% respectively. The amount of water expressed in kilo cubic meter drained out from the area is dash. So let us say, porosity N equal to specific yield plus specific retention, S5 plus S4. So S5 equal to porosity minus specific retention. That's equal to specific yield already given as 0.2, right? So now, what is the volume of water actually? Volume of water already given 1000 kilometers square, 1000 into 1 by 1000 into 0.2. It comes out like this, right? The answer is 0.2. So the relationship among specific yield, specific retention, and porosity N of an aquifer is, what is the right answer actually? Porosity N equal to S5 plus SR, or S5 equal to N minus SR. This is the right answer, right? Because S5 plus SR equal to N. So C is the right answer. These are the assignment questions that I will share you to practice. If you practice all questions, that you can definitely attempt the examination. So see, next important topic is irrigation. So irrigation also, it's very, very simple to attempt the GATE examination. Any examination, not only GATE, irrigation is a very, very easy subject to attempt in examinations, in any competitive examinations, not only GATE, AEE or CPEE, whatever it is, because I have only one formula, duty delta, already very well. So D delta equal to 8.64 B. If you remember that formula, one question is asking from that duty delta. There is no doubt about it. Only thing is, you have to know the units, make sure that all units should be same while substituting the formula. That's all. No question of complications, no question of calculations also. Now, see the topics also in irrigation. So duty, delta, and base periods. So once again, I am stressing that this topic, duty, delta, and base period, one question definitely asking in every GATE examination, 1 mark, 2 mark, whatever it is. Then crop seasons, the crop seasons are Kharif season and Rabi season. Then duty, discharge, and catchment area. Irrigation efficiencies. Irrigation efficiencies are very, very important. One question's chance to having the in both the GATE examination, university examinations also, it's many times asking. Then frequency of irrigation. Then field capacity, wilting point, and depth of water. So irrigation is, first of all, the definition very well. Actually, you have to by heart the definition also. So irrigation is defined as actually the artificial application of water. Why it is term used as artificial means the natural means through rainfall. So you are applying water artificially. So irrigation may be defined as the artificial application of water to the land surface because of land surface. From what? According to the crop requirements. Because according to the crop requirements only, not beyond the crop requirements. According to the crop requirements, right? For entire crop period, for because that period is mentioned for full-fledged nourishment of the growth. So that's called exact definition of irrigation. Now here also please see, irrigation is generally defined as the supplying of water by artificial means for the cultivation of crops and the works required to give effect to supply or irrigation works. So the function of irrigation is to supplement the supplies of water falling in the form of a rain on area to be cultivated at the season and to the extent required for the successful cultivation of the crop. So that is called irrigation. So what is duty, what is delta, and what is base period? So, and what is crop period? Let us say, first of all, crop period and base period. So it is instant of sowing to harvesting. You know two things: sowing, harvesting, or transplanting, cutting, harvesting. So whatever it is. So because in case of rice, it is transplanting. In case of groundnut, it is sowing. That you know the difference very well, right? So sowing to harvesting in days is crop in crop period. After first watering to last watering is base period. So base period includes, right, from preparation period also included. But whereas in crop period, only first watering to last period. That's all. Crop period is slightly more than the base period, used in similar meaning, right? So of course it is a base period is a actually total period. Crop period is the only crop period, right? Just I will correct it and I will send you. So what is meant by duty? So what is meant by duty is area irrigated to the quantity of water supplied. It's called duty. It's nothing but it's a capacity of irrigation. Very important, please concentrate on that. Duty is capacity of irrigation. But how to measure the duty actually? Duty is measured as area irrigated. Because for example, you may have a 1 acre area, right? Area irrigated. Then from which we are supposed to supply 1 cubic per second of water. That's a cube. So area units hectare, discharge units meter cube per second. So if you combine, the units of duty equal to hectare per cumex. Cumex is nothing but meter cube per second. So duty will reduce in upstream due to losses. You know, due to the losses, duty will be more at the tail ends. So duty of water varies from place to place. So the duty at the head of water course is called outlet discharge factor. So then delta is the total depth of irrigation water. In case of centimeter or millimeter, whatever it is, required by a crop, come to maturity is called delta. Right? So it's a delta for various. Of course, this also in paddy is 120 centimeters or 1,200 mm. Right? Vegetables 90 centimeters, tobacco 80 centimeters. So it's a reducer. Only paddy is required more delta. So sugarcane is 600 mm, cotton is 600, wheat is 45 centimeters, total like this. So if you the relation if you see delta equal to 8.64 B by D or D delta equal to 8.64 B. If you remember this formula, no need to remember the FPS system or series system, whatever it is. Just only one formula remember, you can convert it into units. No need to remember the entire formula. You please remember this formula, that's all. D delta equal to 8.64 B, that's all. If you know their seasons, Rabi season starts from October and ends in March. It's also important. Kharif season starts from April and ends in September. So what is paleo? It is a first watering before sowing the crop. It's called paleo. So what is meant a core watering? The first watering after sowing, because it's a maximum watering for growing of the crop. So for example, its core watering is nothing but the water required for growing the crops, few centimeters. It's called core watering. Then crop rotation means change of crop subsequently. So what is meant mixed cropping? Cultivation of 2 or more crops in the same area at same time. It's called mixed cropping. So perennial crop, you know, perennial liver means throughout the year. Even like that, similarly, perennial crop which requires water throughout the year. So like tomato, cotton, 8 months. Because of sugarcane also, it's a 1 year crop. So then what is the dry crops? These crops do not require irrigation water. So because of the fresh example is watermelon. So wet crops essentially require irrigation water. So design quantity of water cultivation. Q design means design water is Q required by CF into TF. So of course this is a formula. You know to remember this formula also. You need to remember. So then next topic is duty, discharge and catchment area. So then discharge is the volumetric flow rate of water that is transported through a given cross section area. So there is no, the formula also, discharge formula Q equal to A into V. So but in case of irrigation, how much water flowing through the canal or to the field. So how much, for example, if you supply 1 meter per second for 24 hours, how much water used for the given crop. So in that point of view, we are supposed to concentrate on irrigation. Catchment area. So what is meant by catchment area? The catchment area is also known as independent hydrological area or basin. Catchment area, basin is a similar word. Even watershed also similar words. Watershed, basin, catchment. These are all synonymous words, but that term which can be used according to situation. That's all. So, or basin where rainwater or other kind of precipitation such as snow are collected to serve the needs of irrigation. So, it's called a catchment area. Then gross command area, GCA. So, it is a total area bounded within the irrigation bounding of a project which can be economically irrigated without considering the limitation of the quantity of water available. So, it includes cultivable as well as non-cultivable area. So, because of grass command area means it's a full area which maybe includes maybe irrigated or not irrigated. So it included as cultivable as well as non-cultivable area. So under what circumstances it's uncultivable actually? So some area may have trees, may not cultivable, sheds like constructions like that. If they're not uncultivable, so that's why it includes grass command areas. It includes cultivable as well as non-cultivable. So net command area means GCA minus area of constructions, roads, parks, etc. That's called non-cultivable. Then cultivable command area, CCA. It is that portion of grass command area which is cultivable, right? CCA equal to non-cultivable area minus area of wasteland, barren land, etc. This is called cultivable commanded area. So CCA, that means cultivable command area divided into cultivable cultivated command area and cultivable uncultivated command area. So triple CA is fit for irrigation and actually irrigated, whereas CUCA is fit for irrigation but not gone for irrigation. So then what is meant by intensity of irrigation? It's a ratio of actually irrigated area during a crop season to the net cultivable commanded area. So just to note down that's intensity of irrigation I equal to area irrigated in entire crop season by cultivable command area, CCA. These are the various efficiencies, right? First was water conveyance efficiency, eta C. So quantity of water delivered, it's a ratio of quantity of water delivered to the water supplied. It's called water conveyance efficiency. Just note down that's why you remember easily. So efficiency of water application, eta A equal to stored at the root zone or stored at root size to water delivered. Then efficiency of water storage, eta S equal to stored in root zone to the water needed to bring moisture content up to the field capacity. So efficiency of water use equal water beneficially used or water delivered, where what is water delivered means water released to the field. Water supplied means water released to canals, from canals actually. Water delivered means water released to the field only directly. Water supplied means at the point of canal. So water beneficial usage means water stored in the root zone plus leaching. So leaching is a process of removal of soluble material by the passage of water through soil. So consumptive use or evapotranspiration, CU. It's also a very, very important bit. So consumptive is also asking asked many times. So total amount of water used by the plant in transpiration. Transpiration means evaporation from the buildings. So building of plants, tissues, etc. And evaporation from adjacent soils or from plant leaves in any specified time is called consumptive use or evapotranspiration. Both are same. So efficiency of consumptive use. What is actually here? So consumptive use of water or net amount of water developed, right, is called efficiency of consumptive use. What is about the effective rainfall? So rainfall during the growing period of a crop that is available to meet the evapotranspiration needs of the crop is called effective rainfall. So in case of hydrology, effective rainfall means total rainfall minus losses. So in case of irrigation, it's slightly changed effective rainfall, right? About this, no need to remember that. Only thing is you have to remember this formula, Dany-Cradle formula for calculating consumptive use. C equal to K by 40, P into 1.80 plus 32, or K into F, right? Where F equal to P by 40 into 1.80 plus 32, K equal to Kraft factor, T equal to mean monthly temperature, P equal to monthly percentage of annual daylight hours that occur during the period. It's important formula. Please note on it. Consumptive use C equal to K into F. That's equal to F equal to P by 40 into 1.80 plus 32. Right? K equal to Kraft factor, P equal to mean monthly temperature, P equal to monthly percentage of annual daylight hours for occurring during that period. It's even number. Frequency of irrigation F equal to dW by Cu. So where dW equal to readily available moisture depth in centimeter, C equal to consumptive use in water in centimeter per day. So in centimeter per day, get cancelled, you are supposed to get days. Frequency of irrigation always in days. So these three, what's meant by gravitational water, what is capillary water, what is hygroscopic water. So what is gravitational water? Water that moves freely in response to gravity and drains out of the soil is called gravitational water. What's capillary water? Water held by force of surface tension and continuous films around soil particles and in the capillary spaces. So what is the hygroscopic water? Water held tightly to the surface of soil particles by adsorption forces. This water not at all useful for plants growth. This water can be eliminated by even oven drying method. So first I will give one example actually. If you keep oven dry sample, that is a soil sample, 100 gram soil sample, and keep it to oven and open it atmosphere. What happens actually? It absorbs some moisture in the air. So that water is called hygroscopic water. So which remaining is called capillary water. In excess of capillary water, hygroscopic is called gravitational water. That's the difference between these two. These three are also very important: field capacity, melting point, and depth of water. So what is the field capacity? So it's water content of the soil after free drainage has taken place for a sufficient period. It's called field capacity. Field capacity equal to weight of water retained in certain volume of soil by weight of volume of dry soil into 100. Just it's also some important formula actually. Then permanent building point and ultimate building point, optimum water depth, available moisture, this constant. Available moisture equal to difference in the water content between the field capacity and permanent building point. Difference means field capacity FC minus permanent building point is WP. Readily available moisture 70% of the available moisture. It is a portion of the available moisture which is most easily extracted by the plants and is approximately 75 to 80% of the available moisture. So 75% of available moisture. So see some questions actually. Check basin of size 15 meters by 12 meters is to be irrigated using a stream of 26 liters per second. The depth of crop root zone is 1.3 meter and apparent specific gravity of the root zone soil is 1.6. The water holding capacity of soil is 16%. Irrigation is to be applied when the soil moisture content in the crop root zone attains 12%. Deep percolation loss is neglected. The net irrigation requirement in millimeter and the duration of irrigation in minutes to replenish up to the field capacity is. See, actually, it's very simple actually. So 1.6 by 10 because the root zone soil is 1.6, right? Because of 1 into it's 1.3, root zone depth is 1.3. So it's a holding capacity, means field capacity means permanent building point. So field capacity is 16%, 0.16. Permanent building point is 12%, 0.12. That's around like this. So discharge equal to volume by time equal to volume by discharge, right? So already volume 15 by 12 area into depth, this one, right? So it's related to 0.026. Discharge is 0.26 meter per second. So straight away 9.6 minutes. This time is required, calculated. With the field capacity minus permanent building point. FC, it's called readily available moisture. Available moisture is nothing but field capacity minus permanent building point. 70% of field capacity minus permanent building point is readily available moisture content. That's all. This formula you have to remember gamma D by gamma W into D, FC minus PWP. So you see, a clay soil has a field capacity 0.38 meter cube, field capacity 0.8, and building point of 0.24, building point 0.24. With specific weight of soil is 12.75 kg per meter square, gamma D, and effective root zone depth is 0.8 meters, right? D. The available measure of HI hold in centimeter is. So this 12.75 is already given. Specific weight. 9.81 is specific weight of water, 9.81 kN per meter cube, into D, depth 0.8, into FC minus field capacity minus permanent building point. It's around like this. So similar problem also. Similar problem. Field capacity minus permanent building point is called available moisture. See this problem. During a particular stage of growth of a crop, consumptive use of water is 3.2 millimeter per day. So again, what is consumptive activity? The water required for evapotranspiration is called consumptive use. So it may be measured as centimeter per day. Understand? So the water used for evaporation and transpiration is called consumptive use of water. So this consumptive use of water is 3.2 millimeter per day. It's nothing but a loss actually. So determine the interval between the irrigations. For example, interval between the irrigation means, for example, you may have the groundnut crop. Let us say today we are applied water to the groundnut crop. For how many days we are supposed to supply or apply the water to the groundnut according to the requirements? For that, which data you need actually? For that, consumptive use is needed, evaporation is needed. That's right. So determine the interval between irrigations and depth of water to be applied when the amount of water available in the soil is 35%, 70%, 0% of the maximum depth of available water, which is 100 mm in the root zone, assuming irrigation efficiency is to be 60%. So for that, I request you to by heart the irrigation efficiencies. Let us say 35% of 100 mm, right? 35 mm. Depletion means how much? 100 mm is 35. So depth of water to be applied means 65 by 0.6. This was 60%. So like this. So irrigation interval means, what is irrigation interval actually? Frequency of irrigation. Let's see the formula. Frequency of irrigation is equal to just here. Let's say frequency of irrigation equal to depth of water or readily available moisture depth in centimeter by consumptive use of water. So that is we are supposed to substitute that formula here also. Irrigation interval or frequency of irrigation equal to depth of water dW by 3.2 consumptive use directly 20 days. Again 70% is how much? Like this, it can be calculated like this. Lift irrigation scheme using a discharge of 96 metric per hour. Let's say discharge P equal to 96 metric per hour is planned to raise a crop with an average delta of 0.37 meters delta. Delta is depth of irrigation. So intensity of irrigation is 60% because of only 60% is to be land is to be irrigated. Assuming 3,600 hours of working of the tube well for a year, the cultivable command area in hectare is. So understand the problem is first understand the problem. So one discharge is 96 metric per second is planned for raising the particular crop. The total depth of water required delta is equal to 0.37 meters. So for that, intensity of irrigation is only 60%. So, but the well is working 3,600 hours of working of the tube well for a year. Let's say this 3,600 hours worked in a year. The cultivable command area in hectares is. So let's say area in hectares in 24 square meters, 60% only required, right? It's a 0.375. What is that actually? Delta, total depth of water required, 0.375 equal to 96. What is 96 actually? This one, 96 meter per hour discharge into number of hours means 3,600 hours. 60 into 60. So in this command 153.6 hectares like this. This problem. Calculate the rate of water in meter cube per second to be released at the head of sluice in order to irrigate 10,000 hectares of land, out of which 20% is wastage. The duty of water is 800 hectares per cubic. So how to measure discharge actually? So due to D equal to area irrigated to the quantity of water supplied, A by Q, right? So this one formula. So finally Q equal to 15.65 meter cube per second. The total irrigation depth of water required by a certain crop in its entire growing period, let's say 150 days, is 25.92 centimeter. The cultivable commanded area for a distributed channel is 1 lakh hectares. The distributed channel shall be designed for discharge of. Again, supposed to calculate the discharge. How to calculate discharge actually? This one. Distributed cultivable command area 1 lakh hectares into 10 power 4 square meters, right? But delta 25.92 centimeters divided by 100 meters divided by, right, 150 into 8 because it's converted into 150 days into second in 24 into 60 into 60. So it's nearly 20 meter per second. Let me see this problem actually. So here, the cultivable command area of the canal is 10,000 hectares. The area grows only 2 crops, rice in the Kharif season and wheat in the Rabi season. So because of make a tabular column, Kharif season and Rabi season. So the design discharge of the canal is based on the rice requirements, which has an irrigated area of 2,500 hectares, base period of 150 days, and delta is 130 centimeter. The maximum permissible irrigated area in hectares for wheat with a base period of 120 days and delta of 50 centimeter is. See, one by one, duty Rabi season, duty Kharif season like that. So because of only 2 seasons, the area grows only 2 crops, rice in the Kharif season, wheat in the Rabi season. R means rice. Let me R is a rice season and wheat is W. So duty of rice equal to 8.64 B by delta, right? 8.64, right? B by delta 150 is what actually 150 days by 130 centimeter delta. So if it's in centimeters, it will use as 864. Or if it is meter, 8.64 here, like that, right? Then finally discharge is around like this. Now similarly, D wheat means duty of wheat. Again formula, area of wheat is supposed to be calculated like this because of like that. That's all. So the gross command area for a distributor is 5,000 hectares, 80% of which is cultivable irrigable. The intensity of irrigation for Rabi is 50%, and for Kharif is 30%. The average duty at the head of distributor is 2,000 hectares per cubic for Rabi season and 900 hectares per cubic for Kharif season. The discharge required at the head of the distributor from an average demand concentration in meter per second is. Let's say step by step. Rabi area, how much actually 5,000 hectares, right? For which 80% of which is cultivable into 0.8, 80%. In which only 50% of in Rabi season into 0.5, 2,000 hectares. Kharif area, similarly 5,000 into 0.8 into only 30%, like this one. So Rabi discharge equal to Q equal to A by D, this one. Rabi discharge A by Kharif discharge equal to A by D, this one. That's all. The discharge required is, which is maximum discharge, is to be taken into consideration. So these are the exercise problems also. Please try to answer it. Of course, I know how to derive these answers also. After that, you can meet me and just a minute. Don't leave anybody.